My name is Lulama Santos Rocha, and I am the location manager for both Workshop17 The Bank and Firestation. The one line that I would give you as to what Rosebank offers is accessibility, community, and lifestyle. When you walk into the bank, it's a very special setup, and I would see the bank as an ecosystem. And so as you walk in, you'd be met with the lobby for both the Hyatt Hotel as well as Proud Mary. Then you'd walk up and come into Workshop17, and that's where our main workspace is located. And essentially, very calm, soft tones. Everything has been done intentionally with our design team to ensure that the spaces feel warm, the spaces feel, I think, a little bit different from your traditional office spaces, but rather a place where you don't feel too labored to work, but it feels calm in what you're doing. And so the very soft environment, I think we also pour a lot into giving that five-star service and that hospitality feel. And that's what we pride ourselves in at Workshop17, because we're not just building a workspace or building an office for people to come and work, but we're building a community. Okay, we share space with Proud Mary and the Hyatt Hotel, and that changes the narrative completely. And it brings to life the work, play, pause model in one setting. And let's take, for example, you are an international guest coming to the bank for the first time. You have the access to the hotel, you have access to Proud Mary for your dinners, and you have access to Workshop17 to spend your work day, as well as all the other amenities that are included. If you want to have a business meeting, you don't have to go anywhere else. You can host it right here at Workshop17. If you wanted to have sundowners with colleagues or whatever the case is, you just go down to Proud Mary, and in the at night when you're then tired, you just pop. It's just literally steps away, and you go into the Hyatt Hotel to rest and reset, and then do that all over again on the following day. The honest advice that I would give if someone were to choose between the bank and Firestation would be pick where your heart leads you. So I think the spaces are very unique to their own, but the offering is exactly the same. If we look at the bank has a different mix of corporates, from corporates to startups to many different individuals, but it also depends on the type of vibe and the feel that you want to go to. Whereas if you go to the Firestation is overlooking the cityscape of Johannesburg in October. When spring starts, you can see the full view of the jacarandas, and it's a much more serene, calming space for you to be in. And the bank is also a place where if you wanted to enjoy a little bit and you wanted to be able to go down to Proud Mary, or some of the things that the precinct has to offer, such as going to Mama Samba, or you need to pop into the mall very quickly to go grab something. That is what we have to offer. And so it would all be dependent on what is your feel, what do you enjoy, and what type of environment you like working in. The bank appeals to a specific niche of people. I think we're looking at your creatives, especially because of where we're located, people that are very much within your communications departments. We also have a mix from corporates to financial institutions to startups and NGOs within the space, and the same thing at Firestation, but I think the positioning of it also is what will set it apart. So coming to Firestation, it's also a completely different market, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more open to multiple different people, whether you're going from coming to the office in flip-flops and shorts, or you want to come to the office wearing a button-up and a full suit, and it's all dependent on exactly what type of vibe you're going for. People want convenience. People don't want admin, and being a minute away from the Gautrain, or even just a couple of steps away from the Firestation from the Gautrain, makes all the difference. And so you literally, it's a work day, you come in, whether you're coming in from the north or coming in from the middle of Johannesburg, you stop in Rosebank. Rosebank is also in the middle of everything that's happening within Johannesburg. It's the midpoint, and so whether you're coming from the south or you're coming from the north, from the east, from the west, Rosebank is where everything is happening, and it just makes it easier. It's very much accessible for people to just be working in Rosebank. So let's paint a picture about how it would work. Your journey would come from the basement, you'd come in, and you'd be able to access all of our lifts. Every single one of the locations in the Rosebank precinct are accessible by lifts. So you'd come up the lifts, you'd be greeted or meted by our friendly staff that will be at reception to be able to direct you. I think the signage that we have within the space would also make things very easy to navigate around. In terms of quiet spaces, it all depends on where you place yourself in the space. Because both of our spaces have cafes on it, the cafes where there's a little bit more interaction, lots of people coming in, and you move deeper into the space, and that's where it starts getting quieter. We have our call booths and our pods and video conference or Skype rooms is what we call them, where you'd be able to sit down and be, I think, a little bit more focused on your work. Our hot desking spaces are also just foster that environment of calm and across all of our facilities, I think the spaces have been specifically curated to be inclusive, especially when we're looking at our lift access, to the signage that we use within the space, to ablution facilities. And it doesn't really appeal to a certain demographic, but to everyone. Looking at the precinct and what it has to offer, specifically looking at where both the locations are located, we're very close to amenities. So your schools, our public transport routes, and what we have within our spaces is what would tip things, I think, in the favor of the precinct. So if we look at where most people want to be meeting in terms of midpoint, Rosebank is where you want to be. And I think that Rosebank, the work that's being done as well within the precinct is also putting Rosebank on the map as the place where you can work, where you can play, and where you can pause.